They did front relax, quarter turn, back double bicep, if I remember correctly, quarter turn, best side chest. And then some, it was just it was different. It was unique. I've never seen something like that. And then they walked us out, and then we had to walk backstage again and then do our individual routines. I think that's how it went. Again, I'm recording this a week and a half afterwards, and so Mike was ahead of me. He did his routine. He looked great too. Nice guy. And then I went up there. They said, you got 30 seconds. I didn't know 30 seconds meant 30 seconds when you step on stage. I thought it was 30 seconds when you hit the box in the middle, because I had my 30-second routine nailed to a T. Like, my posing coach, Kenny, and I, we worked on it several times where he would time me and like we would execute. And so I get up there. My routine was pretty much front double bicep, front lat spread, side chest, side tricep, turn around, double bicep, rear lat spread, turn around, overhead abdominals, most muscular. I had it down. By the time I hit my side chest, I hear 10 seconds. In my head, I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I just immediately turned around. I felt I had to show my best pose, which is my back double bicep. I feel my back double bicep is very hard to touch. It's just, to me, is very unique. It's very aesthetic, something I'm very proud of. So I nailed that one, turned around, did most muscular, then I walked off. As soon as I walked off, the next guy did his routine. And then from there, that's when they called us all out. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. There's a big guy in there in the 40 and up. Huge, probably the biggest guy in nationals that day. I wanna say his name was John. Very nice guy, very nice guy. But he was the one guy that stood out to me that I was just like thinking in my head, like, all right, well, this is David versus Goliath, you know, because this guy's big. And I saw that he was in the 40 and up. And then when he came back down to line up for the 35 and up, I just jokingly told him, like, hey man, like, don't do this. Like, you already got the 40 and up. Like, let me take this. He's like, oh no, man, I can't, you know, they won't let me. I said, okay. So then when they lined us all up together, they called out one number, another number, then they called his number, and then they called my number last for the first top four. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was initially on the outside, and then from there they asked me to switch so I can be next to the big guy. When I say this guy is huge. He's probably at least 6'2", 6'3", and he probably had a good 30 to 40 pounds on me because he was a massive big guy. And I'm just going after it. They're calling poses and we're just posing, and I'm just doing my best. And then they call us off stage. And at that point, I don't know what's going on. There's a local coach here. His name is Jay. And he was actually up there. He had some competitors doing that show. He walked backstage. He goes, Nate, look at this. Showed me his phone. He goes, you nailed him. I'm like, what? He goes, you fucking beat him. I'm like, no, don't tell me that, Jay. Don't tell me that. Shows me, I see the camera and I'm looking at his phone and I'm like, damn, I think I got him. I think I beat him. You know, like, to me, from the photos, from what it looked like, I looked like I didn't smoke him, but I beat him on a lot of shots. And my opposing coach, Kenny, comes back to me and goes, man, like, you got it, man, you got it. And I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up, Kenny. Come on, like, I don't want to count my hens before they hatch. He's like, no, but I really think you got it, man. I think you got it. So I'm just like, you know, like, being super excited because I'm like this much closer to my dream. But at the same time, I don't want to get too excited and get my hopes up because I've got my hopes up in the past and have been let down. So I wasn't sure. So like, you know, Jordan took a lot of photos too quickly. And I'm just looking at him on the way home. And I'm thinking, man, like, I think I beat him. I really do think I beat him despite how big he was. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, I don't know what the judges are looking for. I don't know what they want. Like, I just don't know. And Jordan's like, dude, you looked way better than him. Like, you were just the best one up there. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to get excited just yet. I just don't. Talk to my coach, and he goes, go home, eat this meal, take a 2-hour nap. I have never been able to sleep from a prejudging show to a night show. I just can't. For those of you that can, God bless you, I respect you. But I have never been able to because it's just my adrenaline's running. It's going. So I go home. I didn't want to risk taking a gummy, so I just try to sleep as well as I could. Laid down, put the luggage on the bed, elevated my feet again. And going back to this room in Jersey, when I tell you about the AC units on the walls, this is the first show and first Airbnb or hotel I ever stayed in that I didn't sweat a drop. My tan didn't rub off on my sheets, which we brought our own sheets. And I was actually cold. I was freezing cold, and it was great. It worked out well. I woke up, had I think another meal, and the rest was just like, okay, we're not going to eat again. We want to keep the stomach tight. Let's go back to the finals. So I go back to the finals, and like, all right, we're going, and just we get there, and same thing. It's just like I'm laying back there hanging out. I'm seeing guys eating rice cakes, pumping up, and all this stuff, and I'm just kind of like got my nerves going. And then my coach sees me when I send photos, and he's like, you need to touch up your tan, like try to get your tan touched up. And again, fortunately, my posing coach, Kenny, had a client who happened to be a tanning girl. He talked to her, I talked to her too. And I was like, hey, do you mind touching up my tan? Cause it rubbed, like it faded. And honestly, even in prejudging, my tan wasn't dark enough. I felt like I should have done more coats. But she looked at me and she goes, yeah, I could touch it up real quick. And so she took care of me, and I'll always be grateful for that, because like I felt like she didn't have to do that. And second of all, like it was just a kind gesture. And for me, like knowing what the stakes were, knowing what was on the line, like that helped significantly. So that helped just big time. So I couldn't lay down, couldn't put clothes on after I got it touched up, and had my handy dandy fan was drying off. Once I was dry, put my clothes on, went back down and lay down. And then from there, they called us out there again for the night show. So top 5, whatever, they went out. And at this show, they did like the older categories first. So I think they did like the 70 and up, then they did the 60 and up, then they did I think 50 and up, and then 40 and up, and then we were the last to go. So my buddy Mike does his routine first. I'm watching him. And then beforehand, again, I had my routine nailed to a T. I asked the guy, can you please play my music when I hit a certain spot on the stage? He goes, yeah, I got you. He did not do that. He started it way too early. So the way I had to do it, I just had to improvise. I did my same routine, made some changes, made some tweaks, made sure that the judges didn't see that I was just kind of like fucking off, and just went to the music. And that was that. And then we all did our routines, and then they lined us all back up in the back diagonal line. And they started calling them like 4th place, 3rd place. And then they called 2nd place, and it was the other guy's number. And then when they called my number, 227, Nate Bran, I just felt this huge just weight come off of me. And it was so relieving, so rewarding, so fulfilling, so gratifying. It just made every sacrifice I made worth it for that moment. And so I was beyond ecstatic. I was on cloud nine. I couldn't believe it was happening, especially after the fucking giant that was there, you know? Because he could have won twice had I not have shown up. And so it was just a tremendous feeling. Like I just was holding back all the emotions on stage. And I could hear Kenny in the audience just screaming, yeah, 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 we did. And, you know, I got the trophy and got my, photos taken. And they were like, we're going to put this trophy to the side. Since I was the last one to go, they were like, now we got to do the overall. And so I go back there. And I didn't even know there was an overall in Masters. I had no idea. And so I remember Kenny backstage comes up to me and he was like, don't pump up too much. This was actually before my routine. He goes, don't pump up too much. He goes, I want you to save your energy for the night show, or for the overall. Kind of like he already kind of from his eyes could see that I had a high probability of winning. And so that's exactly what I did. And so from there, they did the overall. And so pretty much it was, I believe, I forgot the categories. I can't even think right now, but there was 4 of us up there doing the overall. And so pretty much they compared us front double, quarter turn, back, side chest, side tricep. Then they made us do it again. And in my head, when they made us do it again, I'm thinking, okay, like they're really comparing people right now. And there was a guy that was a light heavyweight. That's what it was. In the overall, there's a light heavyweight division and a heavyweight division, and they got those top winners. Then they did the 35 and up heavyweight and lightweight division, and then they got 4 of us together, and that's where it was. And then after they compared us like 2 or 3 rounds, and they're like, all right, pose down. And so I just start posing. There's one guy in there that looks phenomenal. I met him, really nice guy, coached by Chris Tuttle. He looked amazing. He looked great. So I made sure like in that pose down just to cover him up. So I'm just like trying to like get in front of him and pose. And it was probably the fastest pose down I've been part of. It was probably, not even kidding you, like 25 seconds. They're like, well, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go. So they call us back. And again, I go in the very back corner of the diagonal line. And then they're just like, your overall winner. And I'm just like, I can feel my heart racing. And again, I had no idea. I didn't expect this at all. And I didn't think it was even gonna be up there, let alone. And then they call my number, 227, Nate Bran. And I'm in just like shock. I'm like, the fuck, like really, like, damn. I can't believe this. And so, first thing I always do, like, whenever I win a overall, it's like I congratulate the other people. Because I have mad respect for anyone who steps on stage, no matter what you do or how you look. Like, I have respect for you because it's a community, and to go up there and do that, it's something that not everyone can do. And so I congratulated them. And first thing I did is I thanked God, looked up to the sky, congratulated them. I always do this thing where I make a heart to the audience where I don't even know where Jordan's at, but that's just my symbol showing like that I love you, thank you. and they walked me in the middle, and I was the overall winner that day. And it was surreal. It was like a dream. Like, I was waiting for someone to wake me up, And it was just like, damn, this is it. So they tell me, they're like, hey, we got to keep your trophy and your card until after the show for photos. In my head, I'm thinking, dude, I want to leave. I want to go home, or I want to spend time with my wife, and I want to go celebrate. But like, I get it. Like, oh, it'll be over around 8 o'clock. And we were done by probably around like 7:15. So I just walked around the booths, and if you guys ever been to a national bodybuilding show, the booths are way different than local shows. Like, they got some cool stuff, big vendors, and they're everywhere. And so I was just walking around buying stuff, and I had to buy this necklace. It says IFBB Pro. I had to buy a jacket that says IFBB. Like, I was just like buying stuff, and just super excited, and bought some cookies and all this other stuff. And, having people coming up to me and just congratulating me that had no idea. It was crazy, but I'm digressing a little bit. Let me backtrack. After I got off stage, I walked back there, and Kenny was back there, and I gave him a big hug. And I said, we did it. And he's like, you did it. And like, I hugged him, and like, I started crying. And then I saw Jordan through the curtains, and then I walked out there, and I just gave her the longest hug, and we both started crying. We both started just bawling. I said, we fucking did it. We did it. Like, we did it. And I say we because, like, we're a team. Like, I could not have done this without Jordan. I could not have done this without her support, without her love. She helped me a lot, like, in so many different ways. And a lot of competitors will say, like, their wives or their significant others, like, they're part of it. It's not just a solo effort. You've got people in your corner that are helping you. And it's not the easiest thing. Helping a bodybuilder, like, it's not easy at all, because there's so many things that go into it. And I just hugged her and started crying and just everything. I didn't give a shit who was watching. Like, I don't care. Like, this was our moment, And so we walked around, did the shopping, super excited, and people coming up to me it was just amazing. Like, people I don't even know these people, just congratulating me and like telling me, like, dude, like, you brought bodybuilding back. Like, you had the size, the shape, the conditioning. Like, no one touched you. And these are things that people I don't know are telling me. And it was such a cool feeling, because like, that's exactly what you want to hear after a show. You don't spend all this time and money and effort to get second place or not win. You're going for the goal. The mission was to get that pro card, and then the overall was the icing on the cake. I didn't expect that, And so we sat there waiting. The show was over probably 9:30. 9:15, 9:30. And then we took photos for like their marketing and their website and all that stuff. And then after that, we got to go home. And we go home just cloud nine, and just celebrating, and a shower, all the tanning's running off of me, and all right, let's go celebrate, let's go eat.